closer.
What's going on, family, man? It's Bam Dillon, man. Single Dad Podcast, man, brought to you by Push It Forward Podcast Network, man. And everything in motion, man. This is episode number 2. One more time, man. It's Bam Dillon. You can follow me at Instagram at bam.deli. And man, no further to do, man. We got family in the building once again, man. So who we got here with me?
We got Harut and we got a special guest, QB. What's going on, my brother?
How's everybody doing?
Hey, man, we all good here, man. We all good here. Yeah, man, this is good to have, our first guest, man, and stuff like that. So in the first episode, we got into the circumstances that really got you to be a single dad in the first place. It's a lot of different things that occurred. A lot of good things that a lot of people, I think, can learn from. But for today, we got QB in the building. He happened to be in town, and he's had quite the journey. And, we thought it was a good idea to bring him in and pick his brain a little bit and, get some insight on some different, highs, some pitfalls, and different things about just navigating, fatherhood, from the perspective of, when things don't necessarily go as planned between you and your significant other or others, right? So I think, this would just be a good opportunity to really just, take our knowledge, be able to leverage other people's experiences and be able to kind of, be a step ahead, when you're navigating this space.
Everybody, I know my situation is a unique situation. And like I said, man, I came up around stand-up guys, man, and Q is one of those examples, man, that I look at, man, from being recognized, prior to, me having my children. So, man, I know, like I said, everybody's situation is different. I just straight up ended up with, temporary custody of my children. What is your situation, or what's been going on with you and yours, man?
Yeah, my situation is kind of like the roller coaster at the amusement park. You know what I mean? Man. I had 2 different situations. All my fault. My first situation, I wasn't married to the woman. She was kind of halfway out of another relationship. So, my decision making up front there is really what put me in a position where it was very hard, because essentially my daughter was born, but even though she was my daughter, the girl's husband was truly my daughter's legal father. Okay. So I had to go through a whole process of legitimization, and
correct.
And then outside of that, it's all the emotion you have going between them two and us. But that particular situation was pretty intense, because at the time that woman was going through some things personally. And there was a period of time where I was keeping the kid myself 100% of the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then, as she got back on her feet, things started changing. So, I got a couple different experiences. And then my last situation is just, typical, you get with a girl, you have a child, you try to get married, do the right thing.
Right.
You guys got 2 different family set of values, and you end up going opposite ways. But problem with going those opposite ways is, when we get this benediction between each other.
Yeah, it happens. So to your first situation, that's similar to what I'm going through right now. So you saying the mother came back and after, because I remember you having custody of your daughter, being in the paper, getting acknowledged, stuff like that. Stand-up guy, man. So how did that go when she came back into the picture, and what was because you said you had your children legitimized, and I know that's also what I have going on.
Right. So what happened was that she was separated from her husband at the time. So more or less for me, it was just a strenuous court thing. You go through the court proceedings where you got to file a motion and say that I'm the true father. If the mother contests it, then it has to be a blood test and all that. But really, that time, what it does is that it really just puts space between you, the child, the mother, and it really just separates the whole thing that you really wanted to put forth for that child, which was the family situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to back up a little bit because you mentioned that the mother of your daughter, her legal husband at the time, was actually the guardian of your daughter. How did that happen?
Okay, so our legal system does not use what one may look at as common sense. It looks at the law. So when you have a woman and a man who are legally married, if that woman bears a child, her legal husband becomes the legal father of that child. So there has to be another proceeding, a motion filed to where paternity is established. That's exactly what it's established in paternity. So, one might be able to do it where you file the motion, and then when it goes before the judge, it's uncontested. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, they may grant you, they'll make you the father. Right. Now, in a situation that it is contested, then you got to go through some tests and different things like that.
Different stuff like that.
Whoa, that's a major bomb drop right there, man. I know a lot of people didn't even know that, man. So appreciate you getting into that, man, and being transparent about that whole situation.
So was it easy to maintain your custody even after that? Like, with her, so when after she reinserted herself, what was the process after that? Did y'all have to go back in front of a judge?
Okay, so the initial thing was that once I established paternity, I never had 100% custody.
Okay.
Once I established paternity, I worked to have a 50-50 custody agreement through the courts.
Okay.
And that 50-50 agreement is what became a little bit hard to maintain. Once her mother got re-involved with her ex-husband and things like that, that type of thing started to put a little bit of a strain on it.
Yeah, that's crazy. But maintaining still doing what you're supposed to do. That's the main thing that keeps everything in motion, man. So,
I mean, it's kind of like with me. I made a decision. These kids didn't really ask to come here. So no matter what, like, if I got to take the hit, whatever it is, like, I got to take that hit because I brought them here. And, it's not the ideal situation, but I can do the best job I can as far as, making sure that I'm present and making sure I do the things that I always wanted as a child, not having a necessary father around.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man.
Indeed. So you mentioned that you had two situations, right? Could you get into how your first situation differs from the situation with your second daughter?
Well, it's weird because I can tell you that the first child I had, I remember going to court, and I was always told, keep all your receipts, make sure you got all this stuff wrote down in a journal. And I went in there ready for war, had my receipts and had my notebook, and I'm trying to go over it, and the judge stopped me and said, I don't want to hear that. That's your responsibility as a father. So at that point, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, the judge called it gifts in my case.
Okay.
He flat out said, those are gifts. That's what you're supposed to do, man.
Wow.
It's crazy.
But then to fast forward it to the other situation, my past situation was a little bit different because I didn't keep receipts as much because of the response that I got the first time from the judge. But now I find myself in a situation where this woman can say that I've never given her child support, and now it's up to me to fight a legal battle to prove that I don't owe her child support. So, that's a situation I guess I kind of misjudged. Me walking into this situation, I felt that, just making sure I took care of the things that needed to be done. And when I stood in front of the judge, I could stand on my word and say, I take care of her school, I take care of her braces, I take care of her school needs. And then what I realized is that I'm dealing with a whole different court system. You have a civil court system, and then you have a Department of Revenue which enforces.
Okay.
So you got two different court systems. You got two different judges that are looking at two different things.
Okay, and the second case was with the Department of
Revenue, which is the entity in Florida that does the enforcement for child support.
Okay, see, that's different. I'm learning right now. I ain't even know how that goes.
Right. So you got your child support unit, that will enforce, certain orders, and then you got one that enforces the orders as far as going after a vacant, a father that may not be there, or a mother that may not be there. They're the entity that's going to suspend your license if you don't pay money. That's going to do that type of thing. So that all comes from the Department of Revenue, which is a government entity which has the power to go into motor vehicles, business licenses. And that's the thing with me, is that my situation has affected me because they suspended all of my license. I had a business.
Okay.
They suspended my driver's license. They suspended my business license. They suspended the registration on my car.
I didn't even know they could do all that, man. That's crazy.
And that was for me failing to make payment on child support with the latest situation.
Okay.
So I've actually came under enforcement from the Department of Revenue because I have not paid the child support.
So what's the situation with that, dude? How long is the process for getting that stuff situated? Is it an easy process to get back out of? Like, hey, I'm making consistent payments.
I guess the consistency kind of it's my fault and it's not my fault. I've been a hands-on person my whole life.
Yeah, I know it.
So when it comes down to my child, when things need to be done, I don't believe in creating a layer. I'm going to send the money to someone else and let them take a week to get it done. I'm used to just, if my daughter needs a pair of shoes, we go to the store and get it. If she needs something, hygiene-wise, we just go get it. If school needs something and I don't have it today, I'm going to make an arrangement so it gets paid at the end of the week. So I've always paid things directly for my daughter. I've paid her daycare directly. I've paid her health care directly. But her mother has been able to go to the court system and basically represent that I haven't paid as much. So then the burden lies on me to produce proof that I've paid. So that's where it gets sticky at. It's almost as if I need to hire a lawyer who can subpoena records so they can really get them, because I'm looking for, records from a school that doesn't exist. And if I don't provide them, then I owe that money. So it's a very hard situation. It's almost like you got to be a parent, you got to be a record keeper, you got to be a lawyer.
Yeah, because sometimes, like you're saying, I've been told that they don't want to see the receipt. So then it's like, how do you show that proof?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the other part about this is that it comes down to the person who's on the other side of that judge.
Yeah.
That judge's personal experiences, what they've been through, what they've seen, the feeling they get about you. Because in that respect, I can say that whenever one of these women has tried to modify custody on me or tried to take the child away from me, I've been pretty successful with maintaining at a minimum my 50-50 custody.
50. Yeah, okay, that's cool.
So I've never really desired to take full custody of the child, just because I haven't really been in a situation where I've wanted to take the child away. There have been times when I felt that I was the more equipped parent to take care of them, but you can't get in front of a judge in that short of a period of time to get that custody a lot of times, unless you can demonstrate that the child is almost, and for a man, the child has to be close to death almost.
Yeah, man, because even in my situation, I have a temporary custody situation, and my child, their mother was locked up, and the judge just simply was like, oh, well, we're gonna give her an opportunity, even though, it's a known that my kids was consistently been with me even after that. You know what I mean? Right.
I've heard, I mean, even when it comes down to you, I mean, I know, we used to do the music back in the day.
Yeah.
And, I had a couple CDs from you that you were working on. I know my brother had big plans, and he started telling me Bam got that full-time job. He's making that sacrifice right now.
Yeah. And that's a game changer for me, So, but I'll make that decision 100 times over, because like you say, it's about them. So that's what we got to keep in motion, man. So now we got the podcast going, telling the story. It's another way to get it out there.
Yeah, and I mean, and the biggest thing, like I say, that really needs to happen is that there's got to be some type of these laws they have around child support and around the man have to be changed, because we all deal with the little things like racism and things like that. But I can tell you the thing that's had the biggest impact on my life, mentally, financially, has been child support and the stress of the government on my life.
Yeah, man, it's a funny game we playing. I know, like, cause I know you know what I mean, you there. Like, that's why I say that's one of the situations that I model myself after. Like, man, I'm trying to be in the paper at the kids' school. Like, I go up there, I show my face, cause you know what I mean. Like, right. I know how you get down, man. So to hear that's what's going on, man, it's crazy because like I've heard before, like it's a saying that I've been told, like, man, you got your foot in the lion's mouth, man. You can't just snatch it out. You got to kind of ease it out of there, man, because it's hard to get out of them type of situations.
I mean, in your case, I mean, think about it. Your kid's other parent is incapable of taking care of them, and they give you a temporary custody situation.
Yeah, just look me in my face.
They don't even have to know who you are, but they would take her word for something and provide her with a permanent custody situation. If you're not there to fight.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you that, like, when I look at all the money I've wasted on lawyers to try to maintain the custody I got, I've easily spent, 2-3 years of college. Yeah,
man, and that's why I was thinking, is representation for us was what we're lacking, because that's why I'm feeling like, in most cases, we just go in there on our word, like you say, or we'll go in there like, man, I got my receipts, I know what I've been doing, she ain't missed a beat, but then the judge hits you with the prejudgment, like how you say, man, and then that's crazy, man.
What do they say? It's political. No, when it comes down to it, is that, like, if you're going to play baseball, you got to come to the park with a glove and a bat.
Yeah.
If you're going into that courtroom, you got to go in there with your best weapon, which is a lawyer. You got to have someone that can represent you to the person that respects them. So it's almost like you don't get a fair shake unless you have, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but if you want to have some level of confidence, you need to pay that legal fee and have that lawyer.
Got you. Yeah,
man. And that's rough right now because, like, I find myself in a situation now where, I can complain because I'm on child support. I keep my kid 50% of the time, no matter what.
Right.
I'm not responsible for health insurance, but I'm the one that makes sure that if it's not being provided, that it's being paid by me.
Right.
It's always been that. And that's not even part of the decree, but where I find myself
you're doing
now,
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and what you're going to see as you get older, it's a hard feeling because it's like right now, I would love to go say, Judge, she's not doing this, I'm doing this. But then if I do that, then I'm kind of putting my daughter in the same situation that her mother's putting her in, but the opposite.
Exactly.
So I'm putting that same pressure on my daughter, testify against your mother and say she wasn't here, and I'm creating that same division, this what I don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
So puts me in a situation where whatever happens now, I got to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm just rocking with it. I'm just rocking with it, man. Yeah. Like I was saying, man, people tell me all the time, man, I had that girl, I have on child support. I'm like, man, that ain't even the type of time I'm on for real. Like, why do that? Then she already she not involved now. So then if I make it to where you gotta pay to be involved, like, you really ain't gonna, you know what I mean? It's just not worth it sometimes.
You gotta realize above all of that we as humans, individual, hurt people.
Exactly, bro.
Sometimes they mean to, sometimes they don't realize it.
Exactly.
We all become a product of our environment.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what that person went through at what point in their life that broke them, that made them not be able to think and do things the right way.
Yeah.
That's her today. She could be a completely different person in a couple years. So
exactly.
You a stand-up guy for not burying her even deeper when you know that she's down.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could get more of our sisters to look at us that way, like, don't bury us, man. Like, we the future of our children.
Man, the judge, man, because it's crazy. Like, me and my kid's mom went in there, like, she texted me beforehand, like, man, I'm gonna give you temporary custody. I'm like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went in there with intentions of going to get full custody, but to minimize the fight of us being like and trying to kick her while she down, let's give her an opportunity, because like you said, you don't know what she's gonna be in a couple years down the line. So I just went on with that, man, and the judge was like, man, we gonna make sure that's what. How did y'all come to that conclusion so quick? Well, I done had them since they were probably like 3 or 4 at the time. Wow. I was like, man, I done had them since they was 1 and 2. So it's like, it's not no hard decision to give me custody, whether she locked up or not. You know what I mean? But we need to change how the judges. That's what I think is the biggest thing here, man. To show like men outside of like court order stuff like that, man. A lot of the times, man, men are trying to do what we're supposed to be doing, and we're playing our part. But the unfairness comes into when the system gets their hand involved in it, man. It makes it hard on the dad, man, because what you supposed to do with when you have all these obstacles you're jumping over, man. You're an entrepreneur. You got your own business. They suspending the licenses and stuff like that. Like, how I'm supposed to make my money how I'm supposed to give you money when you messing with how I make my money. Like, that don't even balance out.
You know, there's even something that you mentioned earlier, Q, in regards to, having like 50% custody. How is it that you can have 50% custody but still have child support? How does that work out? If you had 0% custody, would you be paying more? Or how does that work?
Okay.
If you know.
So initially, when I went through the legal proceedings of going through divorce, Florida had this thing that was called time sharing, and then they look at your income on a sliding scale. So I had 50-50 custody at that point, but I believe on paper at that time I was showing a little bit higher income than the mother, so it put me in a position where I was the parent who was required to pay. The amount that I needed to pay was a decent amount, but I was paying more than that amount from daycare and other things, so the amount was never really an issue. The amount became an issue when it was used as the weapon against me when she went back to the court system. So when I got my agreement, you would think that 50-50 means that you split costs down the middle. It's not necessarily the way that it works, and I think that the law has been changed since then. However, I've had a really rough time in getting a review and getting this whole thing looked at, and my income hasn't been the same for 10-15 years.
But that's another interesting point that you're bringing up, because it's like, I feel like as the man, like the mother can come reach out to you like, hey, outside of what you already have court ordered, like, whatever your amount is to pay, and be like, hey, well, we got daycare, she needs braces, she needs these type things. And it's like, well, if we were to, as a man, like, just in the sense of the word, you would be less than if you were to be like, hey, go get it out your check or whatever, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's twofold, because I've also been in the opposite situation. I've been in a situation where I've seen a woman have a kid that has needs, and the guy, his priorities are not on that kid. So I definitely think there are some situations where there needs to be some type of enforcement.
Most definitely.
But on the flip side of all of that, for me, a judge could never understand who I am, because you don't understand the way I grew up. I grew up as a kid taking care of my younger brothers, sisters, and cousins. Mm-hmm. So, what a lot of people find hard to do with kids, it's not hard. Like, my mom showed me how to run a household. Like, mm-hmm. I can run a household. But stereotype tells, the public, the media, judges that, a black male can't take care of the house. Yeah. So it's like you fight against the stereotypes of a black male, you fight against the stereotypes of a father.
Yeah.
And so you got all these different things you fighting against, but all you trying to do is provide.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It's an uphill battle, man. Especially from when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. Like, that's what makes it. We just gotta tip our hat to each other, man, and just keep doing what we're doing. Yeah, you know what I mean. And just hope a change. Yeah, hopefully a change will come eventually, man. By the time our children have, because man, it's unnecessary at this point, man.
I mean, we got to start working this from a different angle. We got to start trying to work this legislation and let them know, like, government, you can't raise our kids. And this system you putting in place, it's the biggest division of our family that we dealing with.
Yeah, most definitely.
From the moment that these government systems said that they would provide a woman with public assistance to live, from that moment on, they put us out the household.
Yeah, most definitely. That's exactly what it did, man.
What's the reference? I can pay my bills. I don't need you to pay my bills.
I don't need you.
I work and I get this. I can pay my bills. They don't need. They figure they don't need us, when that's what's lacking from our home, is that foundation, that black male. Yeah,
and it makes it rougher, man. But what I'm seeing today is, man, that's we're changing that narrative, but it's like we're not getting too much leeway.
Yeah.
With that, because it's like, man, here we are doing what I know some guys who went down and voluntarily put themselves on child support to get the time and to be able to see their children, man. So man, we just need to get the opportunity to do more when we are in a position to do more. Like you said, you've been in a position to do more.
I mean, we can hope that brothers like you especially can get some some attention, so that some of our young brothers that's practicing law, because this is an agenda that needs to be put forward. Like, we have to get the government out of our household. They are not a better parent than you are as a father.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
And when welfare is willing to come in and tell that woman that you can't be there, and then it makes that woman want to alienate you, and then your child gets raised by a absent parent, we gotta fix this system. So we gotta work on this from the foundation.
Yeah, most definitely, man. You gotta change the whole system, man. That way we'll get our fair share, man, because we're playing our part. So
but like I said, what you're doing right now, it's going to get real rough. You know what I mean? Because it's like, even for me, I had dreams of wanting to do this, wanting to do that, but at the point when you make the decision to have a child, it's not about you anymore. So for me, it's like, I'm talking to people now, and I feel like I'm young because I'm getting ready to start the next chapter of my life, because my kids are just now getting older. So, you sacrifice what you got to sacrifice, but I think that sacrifice, when you can look back and you don't have that guilt because you weren't there, that's it.
Yeah, man.
So what you're doing is definitely going to give you that wealth you can't put a number on. It's gonna give you that feeling you can't put a measurement on.
Yeah, man. A lot of things that at first, when I first got into my situation, man, I was kind of like worried about like how I'm gonna do this, man. Those doors open up for me, man, because I'm heading in the right direction. Everything in motion. Like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I really don't trip on that. Like I said, I had ambition to, like you said, we did music, you know what I mean, and we was in motion, but everything changed, and it's for a reason, man. So you know what I mean, I can't complain at all, man.
I mean, I think the thing that I've been told throughout my life is, the answer is not no, it's just not now. So whatever you got to do, it's just timing. You know what I mean? You still can make you still can make it happen. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep pushing, man, and try to instill good fundamentals with these kids. And my whole thing is, man, you got to teach love.
Yeah, man. That's why when my son was born, man, like I said, I had the ambition. I was doing the music, but then I was like, man, I want to teach him something. So I went to school I ain't know nothing about cars at all, dude. Like, bro, and I just went and I learned the trade, man. I took up automotive technology at Atlanta Tech. And that's something I feel like I could pass down to him, teach him something, and give him, that sense of, man, they that came to work with me, all kind of stuff through my situation, man. Because, man, hats off to the mothers and the brothers out there, man, doing what they got to do to make sure their kids have representation, man, and something to look at too, man, because they need that, man. They used to get excited about going to work and seeing me do my thing, you know what I mean?
No, that's dope, because we living in a world right now to where college is not always the best decision for everybody.
Yeah, most definitely.
And like you said, sometimes it's a skilled trade for something that we need every day is regular people. Exactly,
man. I recommend that to, man, get you something that you know how to do, man, that you can pass down to your children. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you saying school might not be the answer. I went to a tech school. You know what I mean? Get it 2-3 years, man. I'm out of there, man. Shout out to ATC. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the exposure. You want to expose these kids as much as you can. Let them see, let them dream big, because we grew up in the Midwest, and so many things I learned in my adult years. It was dreams that I didn't know I could have because I didn't know that they existed.
Right.
So, that's definitely a big thing, is, just showing some different things, exposure, trying this, trying that.
Yeah, man. My kids tell all their teachers, "Oh, my daddy fix cars." I'm just the guy to go to for that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm like, man, but that comes from, you know what I mean? I wanted to teach them something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So let me ask you a question. Like, what is what's the next step for you? Like, you're in the middle of a proceeding. You come, like, what's next?
Realistically, man, I would like to get full custody, but at this time, like, realistically, it doesn't seem necessary for me to push for that. You know what I mean? Because my situation has consistently been the same since, you know, me and her, our relationship has been over with. Like, I've had them. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a good space. I can tell you that, you know, you, for lack of a better term, you're in a position that you can make the decision you feel is best for the child.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, can tell you that it's rough even as a man when you have 50% custody, because, you know, there's times when a decision gets made, and even though I got 50% custody, it take me a month to get in the courtroom. By that time, the decision's already been done.
Right.
So it's frustrating being a father.
Yeah, that's why that's why when we went to court, that's why I made sure I got it in writing for school and all decisions and that stuff. That type of stuff was in my my paperwork, for lack of better words, man. Because that was the main thing I wanted to have situated. Because I wanted to be able to make the decisions. Because I've been making the decisions, and having my children, like you saying, they ain't asked to come here. I know my intentions with creating a child is I want to be able to help influence, shape, mold. So that's what I wanted to make sure that I had, not even necessarily just control of, but you know what I mean, I got control of it.
Right. So. See, man, I could probably sit here and ask you questions for like a couple hours, but you probably have to save it for another show. But I think the biggest thing here is, for me, it's the how. How are you doing it right
exactly.
now?
Oh yeah, how
are you doing it right now? Like,
Amen.
So I mean, I know that's another episode, but you know that, and you know, it's the same that goes out to, you know, my mom worked several jobs, and you know, me, my brother, and my sister, and you know, I did this and did that, but you know, for a man that, you know, doesn't have that type of training, I mean, how? Because I'm gonna tell you that how testimony is gonna be somebody else's roadmap to
how to do it. Yeah, man. I mean, cause realistically, man, I still got up, man. I had, like you say, man, mom, man. You know what I mean? That's my lifeline. You know, my brothers, man, we came up around stand-up guys, so you know, we all try to push that on with our children. So what I need, I got a sister I got a daughter, man. So my sister does her hair. You know what I mean? Like, cause I don't know nothing about doing hair. I done tried. That ain't my MO. Like you said, man, the how had me scratching my head. So I had to go back to my resources. You know what I mean?
That's what it is. That's what a boss does, though. It's not about having all the answers. It's about putting yourself in a position that you can get the resources, or you can find people that can give you the answers.
Most definitely, man.
So that's a big part of it.
I'm learning every day, man. Just like, that's why it's like, man, iron sharpen iron, man. Because I'm shocked to hear about the 50-50 and still having to pay child support and, you know, certain things like that, man, because it's real out here for everybody, man. You know what I mean? How? You know what I mean? Because you still making it happen, still doing what you need to do. When the phone call, you know, you pick it. They know you picking up. You know what I mean?
Right. Indeed. So I got a question to that point in regards to, you know, what type of advice would you give to, you know, young dude, you know, have a baby with a young lady and it don't work out? What's something that you would give to them that maybe you if you look back, you reflect back, that you might have would have did something maybe a little differently, or, you know, if it was the same, then say that, you know.
Bam, I want you to answer that first, because my answer is probably going to be a little harsh.
Well, I realistically, man, I feel you too, because looking back, I say, if whether it's good or bad, man, just protect yourself, because in the state, like different states got different operations. You know what I mean? Like you saying, I know you probably dealt with, it was Department of Revenue in Florida, but I know in Atlanta, well, Georgia, I recommend you just go get, like, while it's good, if it's good, immediately, as soon as the child is here, just go get them legitimized. Not what they have you sign the paperwork in the hospital, have an address. That's the biggest issue that I ran into, having the address to get in front of a judge to get the court order. You know what I mean? But if you have that, go get them legitimized, man. Just bite the bullet, you know what I mean, and protect yourself, because that's going to get you your visitation. That's going to get you your custody, whatever, any questions or whatever you need to have done, man. Just save yourself the time and effort, boy, because people change, things change, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say, I guess if I met a young man and he was getting ready to have a child, I agree with you 100%, Bam. Go through the court system, get whatever you need to get. But I think it's a lot of questions you got to ask yourself as a man. Okay? Mm-hmm. Every man is not a nurturing man.
Right.
Every nurturing man is. So men have different roles. So, if you have a woman pregnant and you plan on being a part of this woman's life and you're going to be there, you need to fight up front for your time sharing.
Exactly.
Once you get your time sharing and you get a grip on the child's expenses and you get a grip on the income, then that's when that needs to go before a judgment or a mediator to figure out who is taking care of what. So make that your goal. If you know that you're going to be in this child's life, and let that be your first goal, is to get that decided in writing, what is fair and what makes sense per both of your income situations. Now, on the flip side of that, you're having a baby with a woman that you're probably not going to be part of. Same thing. Go down to the court and pay your dues. If you know you're not going to be there, pay your dues, because this woman got to do extra to make sure this kid is taken care of. And
speaking from knowing people who have done that, who have had, like I said, man, I got a younger brother who, went down there voluntarily, and they'll work with you when you do that. So you know what you can and what you can't do. Go down there and get yourself situated. But I feel like, man, it's kind of like just being optimistic, like. Cause this even what the judge told me. If you can avoid coming in here, man, don't even be y'all adults. Like, you know what I mean? It's no reason. Cause I have another child where we ain't. I'm saying this, but realistically, we work. You know what I mean? We work together, like you saying. The phone ring, I'm picking up. You need me, I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
That's the way it should be.
That's how it should be. But I got like a whole cartoons and junk, like where they got the little good devil, angel and the devil on your shoulder. Like, I'm like, man, boy, you better go down there. Like, but we good, and I don't want to put, because once you, like the judge was telling me when I had already done that, you put in a whole energy in these kids, you get them used to thinking the system. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I'm like, man, damn, like I don't want, because he like, man, next thing you know, I'm walking them through the back end. My situation, shit, he literally walking the mother. You know what I mean? So I don't want that to put that in front of my children. Like they just used to seeing that type of vibe. Like I don't even. But man, try to do, man. Like you saying, man, is
be honest with yourself.
Exactly. Be honest with yourself.
Be honest with the situation. And all of us are not going to be perfect. We're not going to always make the right decision. But keep your intentions in the right place and be humble enough to correct yourself.
Yeah, man, because the kids need, regardless of what you think, man, as a man, the kids need you, man. So
yeah,
make if you put forth that effort, in my opinion, my personal opinion, you know what I mean? Because I know from seeing, being a child and children, absentee fathers, man, is hit or miss. Whether how they, how it turns out, what the influence is one way, you know what I mean? So. Be a stand-up guy, man. If you're a stand-up, man, you'll surprise yourself, because I done surprised myself. You know what I mean? It was things that I was like, man, ain't no way. And it happened. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely.
Indeed. I do got one question. If you can answer, just from your experience or whatnot, what do you think drives just a woman to go there, just and that's another nugget that could be. What do you think drives that energy?
So
Bam, you probably gonna have to set up another series to address that question, because
that's real, man.
That question right there runs so deep.
I'm about to say that's before us, to be honest, man. I think that's before us, man.
Yeah, you say back in those slavery days when when they felt like we couldn't protect them from a slave master that was raping them or disrespecting them.
Right.
I mean, this goes back to that.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's before us, man, because it's almost like a, you know, man, you'll get it as a son sometime, man. You know what I mean? You'll catch that wrath, man. So it's like, man, you know, so shit. Hey, man, it is what it is. Like, you know, I feel like that's something that, you know, we just gotta, it's like you saying, man, hurt people, man. So
yeah. I mean, it sounds crazy, but that I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Like, I may dislike what my daughter's mother does, but my love for this world, I don't need to be out here trying to do something to her.
Right.
I don't even feel that. You know, she can do, you know, she got me hemmed up. I'm going to court for child support, fighting for my driver's license, but I'm a man. I'm gonna come up out of this.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker if I start doing the same thing she doing.
Exactly, man. Hey, bro, because that's why I said on my last episode, like, man, you start feeling like you doing bitter baby mama junk if you doing stuff like that. Like, you start feeling like the female, and we stand up men, like, no matter what the situation is, like, if you're an honorable stand-up guy, man, some certain stuff just like, man, but I ain't even about to go that route. Like, that ain't even me, you know. So it's like, man, I don't know what drive that, because I don't got that. I'm not on that. You know what I mean?
It's that hurt.
It's that hurt, man.
History.
It's
you know, and then, you know, we live in a society where power is king. You know, when we turn on the TV every day, we got these politicians fighting over power to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, you know, the woman having this child, that power is intoxicating.
Yeah, because I feel like it is a sense of control, man. Because even beforehand, you know, in my situation, man, I was just being told, well, you can't do that. Like, you just da 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 da. Like, I was like, man, let me go get this in order so I can do this. Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's a power and control issue, man. And the sad truth is, a lot of women know how much we love our children. So if they can't hurt you, you know what I mean, emotionally, you know, because y'all not in a relationship no more. Like, I can't say nothing to do nothing. You got another chick, so seeing her with another dude or whatever, this ain't phasing me. Like, well, boy, I'm gonna take, you know what I mean, the child, you know, you ain't gonna be able to see your baby, because that's your whole world, man, for a lot of us out there. You know, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that's everything. That's what you hustling for. That's what you working for. Oh, well, now you can't get to work. I'm gonna stop this shit, man. Women, yeah, that's a whole nother episode. Because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because I know some stand-up guys, man, who, like you saying, entrepreneurs, man. It's 2021, man. Like, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, man, that the mother has halted that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, just flat out, like, just through a whole monkey wrench. Like, you got your, you know what I mean, your whole everything in motion, bro. She done, you know what I mean, just to see you crumble, because it's different, man.
It's real different. But that's the thing that we got to get everybody on board with. So, you know,
because it's obvious to us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's obvious to the people going through it. Like, this is because of something else. It's not, they don't got nothing to do with me. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
we got to start policing ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The same way me as a brother need to check you as a brother when you're not doing something you need to be doing, or even congratulate when you're doing something nice.
Right.
Same thing got to start happening for these chicks. It's got to stop being enabling from one to another. You know, sometimes these chicks need to step up and say, listen, girl, you got a dad in this kid's life that loves this child. Like, just because you don't like the situation, don't put no more negative in this.
Right, man.
Like, sometimes these women need to hear that. A lot of these women don't have moms and dads to tell them.
Right.
And they going off a playbook that they making up as they go along.
Yeah, man, fumbling, boy. let's put it out there, man, because when you see, because the proof is in the pudding, and it's like children are projects. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all done came together to start a business. Y'all come together to start a business, and then, you know, it just go left when this come into play. So, you know, now the business is not producing nothing. It's not bearing good fruit because it's negative energy getting put in it. You know what I mean? So you can see that in the children sometimes, man. So you want to put. I feel like, man, just doing the right thing, man. Trying to take the high route, regardless of what's going on in your situation, man, because it's gonna work out, man. The kids know. That's the only person I'm trying to impress. I feel like people be trying to impress people, be able to go back and tell, well, man, you know what, I just whoop the whoop. I just, you know what I mean? It's ego, man. It's too much of that going on, man. Like, man, I feel like I said, it's the children, bro. Like, that's why I feel like they need more representation. In court, they need to start. I've heard they do this, man, but they flat out need to just like ask the children. So some of them gonna keep it real.
Well, see that I've been in a situation where my daughter's mother tried to get. She asked the court to allow my daughter to speak in court. I think that's dangerous.
Okay.
One, I think that my daughter felt compelled to keep her mother happy with her, to say what needed to be said, and then it put my daughter in a situation where it essentially made her choose what parent she wanted.
Yeah, and so I think that is true, because I know, I'm gonna be real, like, you know, everybody anonymous in this situation where I'm talking about, man, I know somebody, my partner, man, flat out got paid by his parent. Like, I watched the money go in hand, like money in hand, bro. Like go say, and I know, right. You doing, like, you a good, but this, he primarily with, you know what I mean? Like, say, like, literally say, I want to go live with you. You gonna stay with your mom, but say you want to come live with me, so you know what I mean, to help my situation.
Man,
like,
we need a different judge on our situation. Like I said, that judge trying to come in and make a judgment on that situation, he can't, man. He can't raise our family.
Exactly.
They don't know what's better for our young men than we do. And that's basically what we giving them the power to do. They got the power to say what's best for ours.
Yeah.
When they don't care about our kids they don't love our kids the way we love our kids.
Exactly.
So how you gonna give me answers on what's best for my child?
Exactly.
So, you know, we got some uphill battles.
Yeah, we got some working, man.
Yeah.
It's some stuff that gotta get straightened, man. Like, cause it's like, exactly, it's an uphill battle, man. Whether you in the right, doing the right, man. But you know, I feel like it's gonna come back.
Indeed, man. So, man, I think we can put a pin right here. You know, so, you know, with that being said, Q, how can the people get a hold of you, man? And, you know, anything else that you wanted to let the people know that you got going on?
I got a few platforms I'm in the process of putting together. I mean, I got a regular Instagram. It's Teamsters Music. You know, I got a couple of things going, so I'll be getting back to you guys on some different websites and things going. If you want to, you know, get me for a podcast or talk to me about anything, I'm available at qburks@yahoo.com or qburks@gmail.com, and I check it pretty regularly. So you got some ideas, you got anything, just send it to me and let's talk about it.
Indeed, man. So bam, man, this is wrapping up episode 2, man, of Whatnot.
Yeah, man. I like where we going, bro. I like where we going, man. Cause this is, like I said, man, I don't have all the answers, man. I learned a lot today. You know what I mean? Appreciate having you here too, you, man. This family, we do this anyway, man. But you know what I mean? This was good to get this, like I said, documented, man. Cause it's a light it's a perspective that's not being shown like that, man. And it's real, like this is real life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. So, hey, man, go ahead and close us out, brother. You know.
All right, man. We up out of here, man. Single Dad Podcast, man. We'll be back at you next week, man.
Boom.
Much love, baby.
Peace.